There still is a lot of contentious debate on whether or not a pop-up plugin on your website is a good idea. Now, I've been bombarded by marketers selling the virtues of pop-ups, and about 6 months ago, I decided to install one on my own site. There's a lot of WordPress pop-up plugins available, and to be honest, a lot of website pop-ups annoy the crap out of me. Most of them. Enter PopupAlly. It's the first WordPress pop-up plugin that I've been interested in using because the creators Natalie Lucier and Robin Lee refer to PopupAlly as the polite pop-up for WordPress. PopupAlly allows you to be a gracious host to your website visitors and serves up the information they're looking for when they're looking for it politely. And that, my friends, is very interesting to me. So after this last 6 months of using the PopupAlly Pro plugin, I've got to say, I'm impressed. I really like the features. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to install and configure the PopupAlly Pro plugin. And it's changed a lot since I started using it last October. So first, what you're going to want to do is log in to your WordPress backend. Once you've downloaded the plugin, you want to go to Plugins, Add New, and click Upload Plugin. Browse for where you've saved it, and click Install Now. Once it's finished uploading, you want to click Activate Plugin. So once you've installed it, you need to enter a valid serial key. So you would navigate all the way to the bottom to PopupAlly Pro. Now you want to enter the registered email and serial key that you used when you purchased the plugin. Now it's time to start configuring your first pop-up. So this is a really cool thing about PopupAlly Pro and this newest version is that there's so many different options. You'll want to start here in your display settings and click the down arrow to start configuring your first pop-up. Now, even though the name calls it PopupAlly Pro, you don't actually have to configure a pop-up per se. There's different kinds of opt-in boxes that you can use. So now we've got these page unique pop-up options. You can choose a time-delayed pop-up and you would use -1 to disable the pop-up and you can show it after 6 seconds or maybe 60 seconds if you decide that your opt-in text is going to reward someone for staying on the page for long enough. You can also do a scroll pop-up. So if someone scrolls down a certain percentage of the page, let's say they get down to 70% of the page, which is close to the end of your blog post, you can have another pop-up. This is my most favorite one, and the one I use is the exit intent pop-up. This one's so polite because it doesn't ever interrupt the user's experience. So when they're reading, they don't get an annoying pop-up in their face, but when they're ready to leave your website and they go to move their mouse away, then the pop-up is triggered. So the person can still continue doing the action that they want to do. They can leave your site, or they can get reminded in the language for your pop-up that if they would like to be notified of articles just like that, they can enter their name or email address. Or you can give a really great ethical bribe or lead magnet in exchange for their name and email address. You can also do different ones like non-page unique opt-ins, which are a click-based opt-in, and I really like those ones if I'm creating a specific landing page. Or you can do an embedded sign-up. So this is going to display the pop-up directly in a page or post, not as a pop-up. So you'll have a nice opt-in form that's designed beautifully, and it will show the sign-up box at the top of the page. And this top of the page not follow means that there's going to be a bar at the top of every page and it's going to stick to the top of the page. So top of the page follow means that it would be like a sticky navigation and it would stay at the top of the page and it would stay there the entire time that someone scrolls. So they would always see that opt-in bar at the top of the page. You can put it at the start of a page or post content, at the end of the page or post content, at the bottom of the page, again not following, or at the bottom of the page follow. And you can also use a short code and embed that PopupAlly Pro opt-in box anywhere you wish. And then there's also a PopupAlly Pro widget, which is really cool, and you can include that in a sidebar. So for this video, let's create an exit intent pop-up. So you can have it fade in, you can show it for all the posts in the pages site-wide, or you can choose specific posts, different categories, or different pages that you want it to show on specifically. So that's if you want to get really, really granular and have a message that's tailored specifically to that content. You can either enable or disable it on mobile devices, enable or disable it on desktop computers, and then you can choose how long that cookie is going to be stored in a person's computer before it shows up again. Be aware that if you use this -1, that means that your pop-up is going to reappear on every page refresh. So if you're wanting to test it and you want to see what it's going to look like, you can do that, but make sure you change it. 14 is a really, really polite amount of days to keep that cookie in the browser. Now this is where PopupAlly Pro really stands ahead of the competition. This is smart subscriber recognition. So this means you can actually add a special little key to the end of all of your links in email messages from all of your subscribers, so that, like, let's say someone is on your list, they get your email in their inbox, and then they click on the link to go and read it. Well, you don't want to annoy them with a pop-up because they're already on your list. So you can add this little link to the end of all of your links in your email marketing so that folks who are on your list already don't get those pop-ups. So let's say we call our special key subscriber. And so basically what you would do is, if you were going to include a link in your MailChimp email, you would just add this little question mark UTM_source equals subscriber. And then what that will do is it'll say that that person has clicked a link from your email message and they don't need to see that pop up. So once you're finished, you click Save Changes, and then we get to go and design it. Click on Style Settings and click on that down arrow to open up all your different design settings. In this section, you're going to control the look and the feel of your form. First of all, you can choose whether this is going to be an in-place opt-in or not. So if you have not set a subscriber thank you page, you can click Enable, and then the person will just enter their name and email address, click Submit, and continue reading. Then you can decide whether you want to send the information to an email system with an opt-in form or send to email addresses. So you want to select Send System with an opt-in form. Now this sign up HTML, this is where you're going to go to your email provider and grab the HTML code for your email marketing system. So if you're on MailChimp, for an example, you would just log into your MailChimp account, select Lists, and click on your sign up forms. Now you select Embedded Forms, and you want to go to Naked. You want to remove all these options for the form title, interest group fields, required indicators, and form options, and then you just want to copy and paste that HTML into your sign up HTML box here with PopupAlly Pro. It's going to ask you here what your form fields are for first name and for email, and you can make them both required or not if you wish. It's important to make your email field required. And now we get to choose a template. So there's lots and lots of different templates here. You would probably use the Express Yourself template, maybe not for a pop-up, but maybe for one of those top of page or bottom of page forms. Again, full width, top or bottom of page. This simple choice is really interesting. What you do is you pre-qualify a person by asking them a question before they put their name and email address in. There have been some tests recently that have said that this gets a higher conversion rate. So you can choose all kinds of different templates. We're going to just go with a tried and true. And then you choose your pop-up location, the background color, your headline. You can get really fancy with all of your fonts, your colors. enter in your own unique text. And then the name and email address placeholders, you can get really granular with that as well, choosing the fonts, colors. And you definitely want to change your subscribe button text. You can also have privacy text saying that your information will never be shared or sold to a third party, or you could hide it. And you can have a background overlay. This is kind of neat. This background overlay kind of makes the rest of the page go a little bit darker when the pop-up appears. So it just magnifies that pop-up even more. Now, I wouldn't ignore clicks on the screen background because that's how a lot of people learn to get away from the pop-up. So if you're being polite, you won't click that. You can change the color of the screen background overlay, and you can put a shadow and click Save Changes. So if we were going to test that out, this is an exit intent pop-up. So if we were browsing the site, we shouldn't get the pop-up. However, if we go to click away from the site, the pop-up appears. So that's how you install and configure PopupAlly Pro. The final awesome thing about this super polite pop-up plugin is that Natalie and Robin, the developers of the plugin, have totally outdone themselves with their how-to guides. It's really, really awesome. Not only do they show you how to install and configure the many different options of PopupAlly, they also teach you about opt-ins, how to grow your list, and guide you through the decision on how often you should activate these pesky little pop-ups. They're super genius. So if you want to add a pop-up to your website, I politely recommend PopupAlly Pro. What do you think of website pop-ups? Do you use them and love them? Are you annoyed by them? Share your thoughts in the comments below, then join the discussion on my Facebook page.